Hey there, church. Good to be back with you on this Thursday. I hope you are having a tremendous week and are enjoying these videos. I know I have. I've enjoyed being with you, and I hope that that as we look forward to Resurrection Sunday, that we take in every moment of Holy Week, and really I pray that Jesus Christ just grows ever more precious in our heart, in our mind, and in our thoughts, in our life. On this Thursday, we're going to look at a passage from the Gospel of John, John chapter 13. And the disciples and Jesus are in the upper room, and Jesus takes this opportunity to teach the disciples about servanthood, about what it means to lead. And so what Jesus does in John chapter 13, after he has washed all the disciples' feet, verse 12, we pick it up. When he had washed their feet and put on his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, "Do you understand what I've done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do just as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them." Church, do you see the example that Jesus sets for us on this Thursday of Holy Week? He knows that 11 of these 12 men will be left without Jesus' physical presence going forward after the next day. He knows that they're going to have to be the pillars, if you will, of the early church. They're going to be men who a lot of people are going to look to and rely on. And many times what takes place when you begin to have a following or create a following of people, you have a temptation to think, man, I'm pretty good. Look at all these people that are following me. They're listening to my teaching. They're doing what I tell them to do. And pride could start to slip in. And Jesus, because he knows all things, knows this is going to be a temptation for them. And so he says, guys, you call me teacher and you call me Lord. And you're doing what's right because I am your teacher and I am your Lord. And he says, if I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you an example. The servant is not greater than his master. Meaning, what these disciples are going to have to remember, no matter how big of a following, no matter how many people respond to their word, the messenger is not greater than the message. The servant will never be greater than the master. That they have to remember, one, that it's only through Jesus. It's only through Jesus, through faith in Jesus, that any man, woman, boy, girl is reconciled to God. So they have to remember there's not power in them. The only power that they have is the power that comes through them, through faith in Jesus Christ. Because the servant is not greater than the master. So the disciples, they need to remember this when that following begins to grow, and the early church explodes with growth. We find that in the book of Acts. And so he says, I've given you an example to follow that you also should do just as I've done. A servant is not greater than his master. A messenger is not greater than one who sent. If you do these things, blessed are you if you do them. The other thing that Jesus is teaching them is As a leader, you must serve. That's part of being a leader. That's part of loving people. You serve the people. Now, in that upper room, God, in the flesh, is washing the feet of the disciples, showing them no matter how great you may become, you never lose sight of what your calling is. It is to serve. Jesus said, I did not come to be served, but to serve and give my life as a ransom for many. And just a few hours later, the disciples are going to see that Jesus is a man of his word. He would give his life for them and for all who believe. Church, on this Thursday of Holy Week, I want you to think about ways you can serve someone else. It may be someone that you don't necessarily like. Maybe someone that you're not necessarily close with. Maybe he or she is not a Christian. Well, folks, in that passage in John 13, Jesus washed all the disciples' feet, including Judas's. Knowing full well what Judas was about to do, he washed his feet as well. Jesus didn't just simply tell us to love our enemies and do good to them. He showed us. He lived it. Will you live it today? Will you live it on this Thursday? Will you look for ways you can serve, where you can do something lowly, even if something as washing someone's feet? Now, we have shoes today. I'm not saying you go out and try to find somebody's feet to wash. You understand what I'm saying? Go out and find some way that you can serve someone else. Will you do that today? And I'll see you tomorrow as we wrap up on Friday and we look forward to Resurrection Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow, church. God bless you. Joy.